Welcome back to the 3P podcast. Today we're joined by two new guests, Clara and Will. Do you just want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Clarissa.
Howdy, howdy. I'm a Will.
You almost forgot your name there, didn't you?
Yeah, no, shut up. Yeah.
So for those that don't know, Clara is Chris's sister. And
Can we start that again? Fucking felt dweeby.
Nah, keep that in. That's doing fine.
Oh, fuck me. All right.
So for those that don't know, give a bit more context. Clara is Chris's sister. Clara is also dating Will, my best friend. Hence how we all know each other.
The circle,
Basically, we all just live together.
basically.
Fun fact is, Will's girlfriend of Clarissa, how many years has it been?
8.
8 years, and I got her phone number first. So I want that on the record.
True. That is true.
Want that on the record. It is an inside joke between the three of us, but game's the game.
It's now outside joke. Everyone knows.
Now it's
Exposed,
listening.
Will.
Hey, I'm still living the life, so I'm all right.
All right, so what do we want to get into this episode?
There's a few points that Will brought up, but I think you take the lead. Do you want to go with your trade rumors first or the other parts first?
Like, we'll leave the trade rumors down to the end. I think the major thing we really need to talk about is the ending of the Lakers-Boston game.
I think to summarize it, Pat Beverly is the funniest human being to step foot on an NBA court.
Goated.
If you didn't see, LeBron got fouled on the possible game-winning shot. Ref said, no foul. Pat Bev, when he got a camera from one of the photographers, ran up, put it in the face of the ref and was like, foul. I watched the podcast he does afterwards. He's just priceless.
You know what's even funnier? The camera wasn't even like showing any photos. He just did it for the stunt. He was out there just trying to take the piss out of this ref and be like, you're blind, mate. Here, have a look at this. This can do your job better.
Yeah, I think it was just watching it happen in the moment and unfold. It was a clear foul. Everyone knows it. The NBA refs put out,
It's amazing they didn't hear the bloody slap. It was that clean.
it was like the NBA refs put out a tweet saying the refs will be sleeping tirelessly tonight, knowing of the mistake they have done.
What was he charged for showing the camera? I think it was worth it.
No,
He just got a technical foul.
Just a technical foul.
Just a sec.
I think it's worth it.
Did you see the stat? So Boston have won, I think, like 20 out of 24 games that this ref has refereed their games for. And then they deep dived, right?
His wife's Twitter.
They found his wife's Twitter. Everybody, the whole, probably his child and her mom or whoever, every single person there is in a Celtics jersey and it has Go Celtics.
Oh, that's problematic.
So
isn't it?
that's kind of going to send you in for a bit of an investigation.
He won't be officiating any more Celtics games.
Oh,
They
I
just
reckon
can't do
he's on DraftKings or something, putting some money down. He's probably got 3 people down the line that he's just met on the street saying, I'll give you $50 to put 25 on this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can keep
interestingly-
25, but I want the winnings.
There's been a lot of actually back in the day, a lot of NBA ref scandals. There was a ref that went to jail. I forget his name, but they actually sent an NBA ref to jail for fixing games because, like you said, they all gambled on the game
Yeah,
Fair
yeah.
enough.
and would throw it in that favor. Chris, what do you reckon about the LeBron call?
It was clear foul. It's pretty disgraceful to miss it, but to some degree I am glad that they didn't miss it because it got me the win in fantasy.
Oh,
7 extra points in overtime and got up by 6. So I'm happy with that. Terrible call, but win's a win.
the game's a game.
Look, I was watching that. Who was it? The final game.
The Raptors.
I
Freddie.
was watching the Raptors game with Chris. Needless to say, I've never seen him so emotional in my life.
You
than
were
when
more
Freddie-
emotional than I was.
I just
was
like
just
seeing.
wa- I
I
was
like
just
seeing my
watching the
friends
game.
win. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, I think it was very interesting. The Lakers obviously played the Knicks today, and they got quite a few calls. The worry was are the refs then going to go and give Lakers every call possible? They just can't do it. So like the Lakers Knicks games, they went to overtime. I saw Jalen Brunson take 2 charges, one from AD, which for reference, AD is about 7 foot tall, and I think Brunson's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, so dig straight
6'3".
to the face. Oh,
Basically.
mate, it's probably the size of his forearm as well. Just copping it.
William.
Sorry, just giving you some imagery for the size of difference between these two blokes.
What would you say the size difference? If you had to guess the difference between ADs and Brunson, what do you think?
Couldn't tell you. I'll let you know. I'll find out. You know what? I'll find out for you. Just for you, though. That's the only reason you'll find out in my search history.
You'll think it'd be on Google.
I don't
Probably
know.
already is in his history. How else would he know so much? He's looked it up previously.
There's only one that I'm still stunned by to this day. Is Big Sean. Just type in Big Sean Nintendo Switch and your life will be changed.
No thanks. I'm good. I don't want to put myself down.
I really hope there is no kids watching this.
I didn't say anything wrong. So one of the other topics you want to talk about was Will, you're very passionate on Utah and what they're doing with their tank.
Oh, mate. Imagine trying to set up a tank only to find out you found some bloody good players and that you're actually able to go into the playoffs and have a chance. To go from losing Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, you'd think as a fan, my team's done. They're going to start a rebuild. I'm not going to have any hope. We're going to have to go through some tough years. And then to find out as the season starts, mate, these guys are winning. These guys are playing bloody beautiful basketball, team basketball. And then you start to see, oh, look at this. This bloke, Lauri Markkanen, was getting, junk minutes elsewhere, and he comes to this team, and all of a sudden, mate, he's almost all-star quality. Not almost. I actually believe he's all-star quality.
An all-star.
I think he's going to become a centerpiece. Chris probably disagrees with me, but I think he's going to become a centerpiece in Utah with their young center.
So I want it on the record. Not that I think that I'm Danny Ainge, the Utah Jazz GM, but I sent you trades on fantasy for Lauri Markkanen 10 months ago.
What was it? I probably rejected it.
It wasn't good at the time. It was just Jalen Suggs for Lauri Markkanen during Suggs' first few years.
Yeah.
Because Markkanen was playing, like you said, garbage minutes.
Yeah.
I would have had him if you weren't quiet on the app.
No.
I was pushing for Lauri Markkanen so hard 10 months ago, going, he's 7 foot tall. He's very talented.
I had no interest in Suggs. That was the thing. You know what's funny? There was a time last season where I almost dropped Lauri Markkanen because I had too many players, and I was there like, do I drop him? He's stuck behind bloody all these guns at the Cavs.
Yeah.
How is he going to get any game time? What am I going to do?
So I've got one question for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, there's a certain player you haven't dropped yet.
I've many certain players I haven't dropped yet.
There's
There's
one.
one.
I'll recreate it for you for the audio only listeners.
Oh Jesus.
For those that don't know, that's Miles Bridges.
Yeah.
And
Still playing.
punches.
Yeah, look, I don't agree with what happened. I don't agree with what he did or the kind of person he is. But what I do agree with is what he does on fantasy.
He's got to go. You got to drop him.
And the all-star quality player.
Did he ever
Available.
make an All-Star game?
No, quality. He just missed out. He was actually voted to be the most closest to be the next one to be an all-star
What year was that?
right before he beat his wife.
He was never an All-Star factor.
Mate, yes he was.
He was very good. There's
was
no
good.
denying he was very good last year.
They were putting him up there as all-star quality, and I was like, oh yeah, fair enough. He won't make it this year, but maybe next. And then he decided to do that disgraceful act, and next thing you know, he's just sitting on my bench.
He'll be there for a little while.
I think he'll make a return to the NBA. Genuinely, if KCP got to play with an ankle monitor, and then fun fact, he spent I think it was a month in jail where he'd play home games with an ankle monitor and then have to go back to jail to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think times have changed.
We had guys get
Axe
dropped and
him.
kicked out just for saying random shit on COD. Like, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
If they come back, that's pretty disgraceful on women. It's 2023 now. You got to have some changes in life.
Yeah, but Myers Leonard was, I wouldn't say amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but-
we're talking now. I'm not
Oh,
talking
yeah,
past.
yeah.
I'm talking now.
Just
happen in the
that
past.
only happened like a year or two ago.
Yeah,
Just simply making racist comments got him thrown out of the league. Literally beating up your wife. You're not coming back.
I don't think
There's
you
no
should,
return.
but-
No, yeah, I agree. You shouldn't really get to have that chance, but on the off chance,
Well, I'm not going to pick him up and trade him for you when he comes back.
Nah.
So
we'll
probably
make you
present
play
to
him
everyone.
and we'll disgrace you for it.
yeah, I agree.
No, I'll put him in his own jail on my team.
I hope he comes back and puts up 25 and 10
I just
and
don't
you have
want-
to play him knowing he committed domestic violence. And every week you win with him, judgment and shame.
No, I don't want anybody else to use him, so I'm just going to leave him in my bench, and he can have his jail time on my bench.
Yeah, but then his statistics go off of the amount of people that have drafted him.
Maybe. How long do we let him suffer for his crimes? 5
Infinity.
years.
He hit
He's
his
already
wife.
getting too much time devoted to him in a short podcast, and that's more of enough.
Yeah, we should probably leave him there.
Leave him there. There's no need to keep talking about the guy. He's not making a return. Shouldn't be on your team, but you can have him there if you really want him. But
One
back
thing
to
though,
Utah. Back to Utah.
sick dunks though.
A few. back onto Utah. I actually disagree with you. I don't like what Utah's doing.
I knew it.
No, you think
Why?
I don't. You don't think I don't like what Lowry's going on. Lowry's an all-star. He's playing great. He should be the centerpiece of their team. I don't like how they tried to be good at the beginning of the season. They're not making the playoffs. They're barely going to make the play-in, and they're going to have a top 14 pick. All they had to do was to be a little bit shitter at the beginning of the year, and they'd in the running for top guys.
But you know what they're doing, right? Like, you know the game plan is they let their players play to build their stock, and then they'll go, okay, Jordan Clarkson, you're gone.
Of course.
Mike Connolly,
But those guys were
you're
going to
gone.
build their stock, but all they had to do was sub them out in the third.
Yeah.
Let them go and play a little bit. Yeah, I literally would have rather them just go, here's all the young guys, go nuts. And just go for your big guys. Victor's there, Scoot's there. They
Yeah.
can use those guys. To have those guys there and everyone's going, oh, Utah's going to suck this year, and then suddenly they didn't suck, but now they're slowly getting worse. They're going to end up being probably bottom 11, bottom 12. Like, they're just going to end up with pick 8 or 9 when if they just lost another 10 games, they could have had a top 4 pick, which is where we all projected they would be. So I don't think long run of them going, oh yeah, we're good this year. This is a surprise. This is great for the team, great for the fans. It's not actually better off for them because they're still shit.
Yeah, I can see that point, but I'd say Danny Ainge knows what he's doing with what he got for Rudy Gobert and what he got for Donovan Mitchell. 2 stars that weren't working together. I trust that plan.
The trade process, perfect. Worked out
Yeah.
amazing for them. The packages they got, great. But I don't think them having success in the beginning of the season is actually benefiting them.
No, I get it, but I think there's only the bottom 3 teams get a 14% chance of victor. So I think they've gone, even if we come bottom 3, it's still only a 14% chance. Why don't we let these young guys like Laurie Markkinen play? Just let them ball out. Go, you know what? What's your potential? Let's find out. 30 games. Obviously, they started very hot. It's died down a little bit. I'm not too sure where they are in the rankings now, but it's definitely plateaued a little bit down.
They are 26 and 26. They're 9th.
Yeah. But in the West, that's also 2 games from 13th.
That is, yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
2 games from 13th and 2 games from 6.
So Laura's going to get his all-star, and then they'll go, all right, just settle.
Yeah, they're going to finish up 12th or 13th. The teams below them are the New Orleans Pelicans, OKC, Portland, and Lakers.
Yeah.
2 of them are at least going to jump over.
Yeah. So I do think they'll still finish bottom 3 in the West. They'll pull the plug. It's like what OKC do. You think Shea's playing unless they're in the playoffs? No. Like Josh Giddey last year, they just pulled him in. They said, you know what, Josh, you're done.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I do think time will tell, but I trust what Utah have got because if you look at how many picks they've got over the next 5 years.
Yeah, they definitely did well there.
All they've got to do is just pick up 2 stars and go, all right, we've got about 10 draft picks that we can trade here. 5 for you, call it a day, done. It's interesting.
Utah's also the place they're not bringing in a star in the offseason. They're not
Yeah.
going to pick up a free agent, so they almost have to draft well.
Yeah.
So having all those picks is definitely going to help them, but not finishing in those bottom areas is just slowing down the process.
Yeah. But it also is the first year of a rebuild for a team.
Yeah.
Oh, but first year of the rebuild, should they be the 9th, or should they try to be the 13th team?
I think it's too hard to be the 13th team when Houston and Spurs and Lakers not even trying to be shit. They're just shit.
Like, so I saw the last 4 games where they got stuffed over by the refs. That would have put them like 7th place. The West, like you said, they're 9th, but they're 2 games from 13th and 2 games from like 6th.
Yeah.
So they lose 2 more games. They drop back down, and realistically, like you said, it's going to be Spurs, Rockets, bottom 2. Jazz will probably finish in that 13th spot. And then what more can you expect? Spurs, they're just tanking. Rockets, I mean, it is what it is.
I feel like Utah fans would not be pleased though if their franchise decide now's the time we're a 500 team, but we're going to decide to tank now. I feel like they've built too much hope.
That's why I'm saying that I think they did the wrong thing by building that hope when we all knew the outcome was going to be bottom 3.
Yeah, that's why it was. In all facts, it was a failed tank.
Yeah, failed tank completely. They should have just sacked it and gone, yeah, we're going to be shit. You threw away your 2 best players and got a heap in return. You should have been trying to finish 15th.
Yeah.
Yes, they got really lucky with Lowry and having the season, but
What was the name of that young center again?
Kessler.
Walker Kessler.
Oh mate, he's actually quite impressive.
Yeah, he's doing better than Rudy is this year.
I was watching his last game and I was kind of like, wow, this young guy, he's gonna have a good future in the NBA.
Yeah. So I think there's a balance between the tank, then also with that letting players play. And that's where Utah have gone, like I said, let them play, let them have fun, let them test it out, see what they're capable of as well. Because a lot of it's, right, you know what Colin Sexton's going to give you. But no one knew Laura Markkinen was made for this.
Yeah.
Until when he was playing like the Eurobasket, and he was balling out, and they're like, okay, shit, he's got a lot of potential. Let him play.
Yeah, but
There's
also
no
like with the fans, as you guys were mentioning, like you got to win some games. Otherwise, no one's going to come, and then your franchise is just going to struggle.
Yeah.
You need to fill seats.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Spurs, what did Pop say? He said at the start of the game, "Don't buy tickets. We're going to suck this year."
Yeah, like, and that's just bad performance for the team at the stadium. No one wants to go and watch it.
And also, like, if you trade like they did your two best players, your expectations for the season are already not high.
Yeah.
You're going, well, we've traded Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. We're not expecting much.
Yeah.
We're not. Like, it is what it is. Chris, do you want to take us through some of these trade rumors that you've got sitting?
Well, they're not all trade rumors, but they're all to do with the trade deadline. And the obvious one to start with is what's going on with Jeremy Grant. He hasn't accepted his extension.
Yeah.
So right now, literally today, the report came out that the Blazers were happy to move him on if he chooses not to sign on.
Yeah.
So his extension is 112 mil over 4 years, and he said he can do better.
Yeah.
Wow.
112 over 4 years for Jeremy Grant. That's a big contract that they're offering, and he thinks he can get more. I don't know where someone else is going to pay him that kind of money.
This
I
might
guess
be
that's the
another
drama.
example of dropping the bag.
Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder.
But then on the other hand, you've got Jalen Brunson, who was in a similar situation. The Mavs could have offered him $55 million. He said no. He was like, no, I'm betting on myself. He then went and signed a 4-year, $100 million contract with the Knicks.
Yeah, but the thing, right, with Brunson, there's a whole other level to it. So Brunson's dad
Oh, I can tell you,
is already hooked up inside the Knicks organization,
So-
or was getting hooked up.
summary of it,
He's staying at the bloody house of the
I can tell you the whole thing.
Oh, okay, go for it.
The Knicks GM Leon Rose.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's GM. Before I get it wrong.
But basically,
President of the Knicks?
ends up being 28 mil a year that he's turned down.
Mm.
There's how many contracts do we actually know that are over 30 mil? That's basically a max. They've given him just under a max, and he's gone, I can go get a max. That's basically what he's chasing. There's not many teams that will offer that.
Brings me back to my non-favored take of why would you want to be in Portland? Dame's awesome, but for what? Tell me what's Damian Lillard done that's been really impressive. He's incredible.
Good old Dame time.
Dame time.
Give us those buzzer beater game winning moments. But
He's electric.
how far can he take the team?
But I don't think they've ever built a proper team around him to win. They couldn't win with CJ there. And
So
Chris is
that-
very
Is
passionate.
that the team's fault or Dame's fault?
Both.
It's not really Dame's fault if they're building a shit team around him.
As the
That's-
best.
that's the
If you
front
call it
office.
Dame's fault, then it's also Luca's fault when
It is.
Brunson. So it's the same situation, really.
Well,
You got these two top quality level all stars
Yeah.
that they just can't seem to build around for some reason, and it makes no sense.
So here's one. Chris is passionate on the Luca one. What does Luca do? Dominates the ball. What does Brunson need to succeed? The ball. Same with Dame. What does Dame do? Dominates the ball. He's great at it. But those players aren't always the best at letting others share the load, whether or not it's due to a balance of them feeling the responsibility to perform. Luca, he's ridiculous. He's incredible. But who are they going to put as his second star? I've said since we started this, Luca needs his Robin to the Batman. And he needs to kind of have someone he can trust and go, hey, here's the ball. I want to step back a bit, not have to put up like 50-point triple doubles for us to just lose by 2 points. It's crazy. They just need to find that balance. And they will. He's only 23, but it just takes time because he's just not he's not found anyone yet.
Well, you know what it's going to take? Someone that can beat him one-on-one. He's not going to give... He needs that player of the same caliber.
Yeah.
And it's almost impossible to find that player because what would Dallas have to give up to get that player?
Yeah, but if someone's beating him, why would he want him to be the second player? That guy's personality is going to want, I'm better.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
He's
They're
going
just
to try and
keep-
find a better contract. Why would he stay?
Yeah. I think there's a balance of like
Be a second.
when LeBron came to Miami,
Yeah.
obviously this is the other way around, but D-Wade said, it's your team. He said, your team, I'll role play. He needs a star, like a Paul George to a Kawhi, to come in and say, it's your team, but I'm here when you need, if you need.
He almost needs to play that he's the Robin, but we know he's the star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to
Yeah.
hype someone
Yeah.
up and go, you got it, mate. Back yourself, go for it. I'm just going to take a step back for a bit. But the thing is, Dallas' success literally depends on him being on the court.
Well, you see the stats. It's all on the paper. When he doesn't play, they're
Downhill.
screwed. They have like it appears on the betting apps as well. As soon as you find out Luka's not playing, mate, the other team's the favorite. Doesn't even matter who they're versing.
Yeah, it's tricky. What do you reckon Portland do with Jeremy Grant?
Well, it's clear that they want to keep him. They've offered him an absolute bag, 112 mil.
Yeah,
That's 28 mil a season, 4 years. That's a pretty good contract to offer someone that's only ever been the second man on any other team. He's come out, he's averaging 21.3 points, 2.4 assists, and 4.4 rebounds. He's playing great second option. Doesn't get the Blazers anywhere. They still need a third piece,
yeah,
which hopefully either Shaden Sharp or Anthony Simons can develop into, but that's a lot relying on them to form into something without the ball in their hand.
yeah. Now, so you're saying how much were they offering him a year?
For 28 mil.
I'll read you out some contracts that are more than that, but make me baffled. Number 1, Gordon Hayward on 30 mil. D'Angelo Russell on 31. I think
His agent, good on him.
his agent,
Top star.
king. Or queen, you got the bag.
The agent there,
I don't
secured.
I don't mind him. I don't think he's as bad as he is, but his contract makes him look a lot worse than he is.
That's the thing.
But
Another
he's
one.
also in a shit situation.
He plays really well. I think his team itself doesn't really help him though, because when you watch him set up the plays, it's a great play. Bloody finish the shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like get it in.
Another one, 30 million a year. Michael Porter Jr.
But that makes sense because at the time when you're offering that, the guy was meant to develop into something. We didn't know he was going to break his back and be out for the rest of his career.
Wrong. We did know. His
didn't
back
know.
issue started in high school.
It was predictable, but we didn't guarantee it's going to happen.
As soon as someone has a back issue in high school in the basketball world, it's like an Achilles injury. It's unfortunate that it's happened to you, but the chances of that lingering and keep coming back, consistent. Another 30 mil contract a year that I don't like. Ben Simmons, 35 mil.
Oh, I thought he was your favorite, mate.
Tobias Harris, 37 mil was probably the worst. Rudy Gobert, 38 mil.
To be fair, Tobias Harris actually plays a massive role in that team. But for that amount of money,
Yeah.
he's probably one of the most overpaid players.
Yeah. I'm not going to go on and bag contracts because I see Russell Westbrook at 47 million a year. But I don't want to hear any Russell slander on here today. I will defend him until pigs can fly.
It's all right, man. He's just having fun.
It's all right, just have fun. Don't worry.
It's all right. Just have fun.
Like I look at it and say, like, the issue is with these long-term contracts, you sign them now, not knowing what 5 years brings. When Dame's 38, he's on 60 mil a year.
Yeah. Both
35,
Dame and Jimmy Butler end up with this massive contract at 39.
Yeah.
Like they're both making just shy of 60 mil for a year when they're 38 years old. Like it's ridiculous. It's too much money for one player.
And like at that point, like I said, why would you want to be in Portland?
Yeah, Portland's screwed at that point.
Yeah.
At that point, it's basically we've built ourselves into this hole. They need to do something before the contract reaches that.
Yeah, like the salary cap's about 130, 140 million. Almost half of that at a certain point would be just Damian Lillard. Who are you going to put around him?
Apparently, Jeremy. Thing is, they've got young talent there that's not on big contracts,
Yeah.
but they need another 2 or 3 pieces on really low, cheap contracts that are pretty much just going to be guaranteed good role players.
Yeah.
If they could land a Seth Curry, a couple others, just guys that we know what they do, what they're going to produce, that are going to only require 8 to 12 mil.
So it's
That's how they
balanced.
get a championship.
Yeah.
They need to balance it out with real cheap guys that just, they know what they're going to do. They could get a Josh Richardson, Jakob Poeltl for the two of them for 20 mil.
Yeah.
They're on the last year of their contract, so going in on those guys now would push them into a close to contention spot, but doesn't lock them in for anything.
I feel like the Blazers will always be a 6 seed as long as Dame's on the team. I feel like that's pretty fair to say. In that
I
West,
feel like Dame's going to leave, join a team, and that season they win a championship.
Dame don't run from the grind.
Oh, man. It's
saying
going
that
to
as a
happen
joke.
eventually.
I'm saying that as a joke. I
it's been
would
months
much
of
rather
this.
him leave.
No one's going to take him.
The contract doesn't allow him to go anywhere.
No one's going to be like, wow, I really want a 38-year-old Dame on 60 mil.
No, this is why I really, really like the idea of front-loading a contract,
Dame ends up...
as what they've done for Miles Turner.
Miles Turner was interesting. They balanced it out.
They've front-loaded his contract to kind of guarantee, we want you to stay. We're willing to put all this money up front, but you're going to get paid less later on when we probably have more money to get
It almost makes
stars.
more sense to pay. Like it makes more sense. You'd rather pay Dame big now
Of
than when
course.
he's.
But what ends up
Why would
happening
he
with
sign
Dame, he
that
gets a
contract?
buyout. He'll end up with a buyout. They'll just pay out half his contract for him to leave and re-sign somewhere else. It's the only way it works for him to move on because there's too much money. But with that, Miles Turner, I don't know if I read that right, but his contract extension kicks in now because he's making more money for the remainder of the year.
So what they've
Yeah,
done is
they've
they've paid him an extra 15 mil this season.
Yeah, I didn't know how you could actually do that.
Yeah, they've renegotiated it.
That is incredible that they've just gone, oh, well, we're going to offer you 4, but you only want 3. Screw it, we'll give you an extra 15 mil now for the remainder of the year, which blows his contract, like current contract, to be in line with that rest of it.
Yeah.
They have the cap space to do it now. Why not front load the shit out of it?
It's smart.
Works out well for them contractually right now, but I don't know how well that team works out with Miles Turner. Just the team alone needs more,
Yeah.
and the front loading it kind of stops them from doing anything short term.
Yeah. What other trade rumors do you have on there?
Well, back to that though. I think they don't want to do anything short term because of how young their team is. They need these blokes to get that experience and build a rhythm and a I don't know, just rally some wins. You know what I mean? Get that kind of.
They've been slipping of late. Like their last.
Well, as soon as
they're on a
Halliburton
3-game
went out,
they've won 1 out of their last 10 games.
Don't
Yeah.
sleep on white chocolate, TJ McConnell.
He's good for a little hustle stat, but that's about it. He's not going to do a hell of a lot more to infect the game.
Yeah, but they're a team like, what do you expect from them? There's a few teams in the NBA when you watch, you go like, we don't expect you to win. Just like,
Oh,
Chill.
we both predicted them to be a lot lower on the ladder, but they're doing what they're doing. They've lost their last 9 games, really.
yeah,
Like, they're struggling without Halliburton showing majorly, but that's what we expected.
yeah.
So
That's
the-
interesting.
well, hey, it's giving Mathurin a good shot, and I'm pretty happy with that. Give him some ball time and let him get some value.
And we
Wink, wink, everybody.
Okay, now speaking of trade rumors, let's go to a trade rumor in our fantasy because William is here. You mentioned Benedict Mathurin. Chris, is it Luca time?
Luka time was 2 weeks ago. That's right. You should have done it so much long ago. It's not beneficial to do it near the deadline. It makes more sense to do it sooner.
No, because I've already witnessed what happened when you trade a star player for a lot of picks, right? Example, Chet.
Okay, let's just.
So we're talking about a guy that's not even going to be in a play-in contention. The players that you're getting are guys that literally will be fighting to stay in the best seeding options. Dame is going to be killing it all the way up into playoffs because he's right now not in the playoffs. He's going to be doing everything he can for the next 6-7 weeks to make it.
Now, we'll ignore the Luca. So, for those that don't know, Chris is trying to get Luca from Will. I've sent you an offer, and every time I watch you decline it, I'm seeing your players put up bad stats. My players, they're shining.
It's suddenly flipped.
Porzingis,
Prior
53.
to that, I
Russ,
was like, oh.
44. How was RJ Barrett today? Anyone?
Oh, yeah. How do you go today?
RJ?
Halo?
Didn't you pick him for today as
Thank
well?
you,
I'm
Ava.
pretty
Okay.
sure. Oh, I think you've won, Clarissa, without having a player even chosen.
Oh, no, I had Brunson play today.
Ah,
I went to shake a hand yesterday as a congratulations because
Okay,
I had 2
bad.
players
First day?
go really bad,
Yesterday,
and then
the
today
first-
it
the
just
first
continued.
day of the competition. Giving up too easy.
and I understand that you're going to tell me that Bennett Mathurin's stock has risen, but that's because we all know Halliburton is not there. And as soon as Halliburton's back, it's back to the bench. Back you go.
No, I reckon eventually he's a top gun player. He was pick 6.
Do you want to win now or do you want to win?
But
Oh, yeah, I suppose Clarissa's won already.
If you were
this
to
week.
redraft that season, right, he probably wouldn't sleep till 6.
I think he goes later.
I think he goes earlier.
Let's bring up that draft.
If you have a look at the draft and who was picked before
Okay,
him,
Paolo,
yeah,
Chet.
yeah,
So the question is, I'm going to name some rookies.
I'd probably go Ivy next, maybe,
Ivy?
and then Mathurin.
What about Keegan Murray?
No,
Give me your reasoning. I'm open to it.
I just don't like him.
Why?
Not good enough.
Not good enough, or is he the third option in a playoff team?
It's probably that. He's probably,
behind
he's probably not
Sabonis.
getting the opportunity that he requires to
Yeah.
kind of get shown.
Sabonis, Fox. Then he's behind like a veteran Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
Kevin Herter, who just randomly just pops off with his headband every now and then.
That's what really annoys me because I have Kevin Herter and I can never know when to pick him.
It's on and off.
it
One
kills
day he
me.
puts 2 points. One day 25, and I'm like, Kevin,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
No consistency.
No, but like
That should be the name of my team. No consistency. I'm changing that right now.
Yeah.
So he ended up going 6th, right?
Yeah.
So we're convinced Parlo, Chet, Keegan.
No,
Ivy.
Keegan we're not convinced on.
Okay, so Keegan we're not sold on. Ivy's going before.
Yeah.
Right now, Jalen Duran goes before. Duran's putting up stats completely. Jabari was rumoured to be number 1
Hold on.
for about 4 years straight.
I was surprised
And
how
he dropped
bad.
to 3.
I was surprised how Jabari went. I thought
Can I
Jabari was going to be a
ask-
much better player.
Why no to Jalen Duran? Have you watched him play?
Yeah, look.
Or is it just because I have him on fantasy and you don't want to make him seem good?
It's exactly that.
a little
It's a
bit,
bit of both,
a
bit of
little,
both.
a little bit of bias.
Your chance of convincing us that Benedict Mathurin would have gone higher is better off saying that Walker Kessler would have gone higher than Mathurin. Because right now he's having a better season.
No, I see that for Kessler. Okay, I like
Kessler went 22.
Oh, he deserved to be way higher.
He probably should have gone higher. But there's plenty of guys that you can relook at this and go, okay, they should have gone higher. But it's all situational.
Yeah, you can see that throughout all the years of the draft. Like, would Butler really be the 30th draft pick of his?
Jokic was like 37 or 43.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense. And the amount of 14s that end up to
Yeah.
be bloody stars, it's surprising.
It's wild.
It's almost like you want to have pick 14 just because you
Yeah.
know you have the better stat of picking a better player.
And I will just say that Jalen Duran is the youngest player in the NBA.
What was that?
Jalen Duran is the youngest player in the NBA.
How old is he?
19.
Wow.
And he's a starting center, averaging a double-double most of the games when he starts.
Wow, good on him.
You
And
know
that's
what the
where it's
worst
like-
part is?
What?
He was drafted by the Hornets, who were in desperate need of a center.
And that's
Oh,
it
doesn't
was
that
an
just say it
athletic
all for them?
19-year-old.
Traded 10 minutes after he was picked.
Oh,
Ouch.
Straight to, because the Hornets had pick 13 and 15, and at 15 they picked up Mark Williams, the center out of Duke. Right now, when he plays good minutes, performs, but they never give him good minutes.
Yeah.
For some reason, they want Mason Plumlee to play as much as possible, which leads into the next rumor. They put him on the block. They
Mason
want him
Plumlee.
out for 1 pick.
I take it. I saw him hit a left-hand jump shot. I don't know what he was doing. He took it one-on-one, and I was like, wow, Mason.
Plumlee.
Yeah.
Mate, he's so like randomly talented.
What team gets him, though? Who wants to bring on that $10 million contract for his performance, what he brings in? 10 mil. Like, there's definitely some teams that could do it, but he's only got 1 year left.
Yeah.
So you need a contending team to come in and go, okay, that puts us over the top. But what contending team has 10 mil sitting in cap space?
Or just willing to cop the luxury tax.
Well, that's a big risk on its own.
Yeah. Interesting. I think in terms of like trade rumors, that's probably one. If I saw the Woj notification on Instagram, I'm not even opening it. Closed and done with. What other trade rumors have you got?
So the next one that we're coming in with was a bit of a surprise to me, but at the same time, zero surprise. But the Hawks are willing to keep John Collins. He's been in trade rumors for the last 4 years, and the Hawks have turned around and gone, yeah, we're not going to trade him.
What was changed? He hasn't changed.
He hasn't changed. His performance has changed. I think the only thing is they're not getting what their asking price is. They
It's
want
the
too much
classic.
for him. But they've been wanting too much for him for 4 years and haven't gotten anything back. What makes them think his value is still there?
Wouldn't you give up after 2 years? Like 4 years, that's enough, isn't it?
Sometimes people can't break up. You know,
Yeah.
it's on and off. It's on and off with John Collins and the Hawks. They don't know. I've changed. I promise I'm gonna run back on defense. I promise. I won't foul out. I think it's interesting, but like a team like the Hawks, they're in a situation where like it's similar to how we've experienced. If you say that someone's available too much, nobody cares. And the
Yeah,
league's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
gone, okay,
I know, you've told me enough.
we'll offer you this. Like,
Because right now, the Pelicans are the only team interested in John Collins, which
Yeah.
I don't know why they would want him, what they would give for him.
They're probably offering a second round draft pick. They're like, here, have this. Nobody else wants him.
just like a pity offer.
Yeah, definitely.
It
They see him
seems
as
their
like,
offer
we
is-
can gun for this now.
The
Why
offers
not?
Devontae Graham, Jackson Hayes, and Najee Marshall.
Oh, that's a lot more than a.
But like,
But
if they
Hayes is on the draft on the trade block as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they lose those players, it doesn't impact their season.
No.
If they get John Collins in,
There's
so like,
absolutely nothing.
it's almost like I've got some spare change. Can I get $1?
The Pelicans have been on a losing streak lately, though.
Where are they?
Pels,
They've lost the last 9.
Yeah,
Yeah,
9 in
9
a row.
games.
Like
Wow.
that's
That's no Zion, no
Zion,
Ingram.
he
Ingram's
hasn't
just
been
back.
He
Ingram's
hasn't
back
been out
for
for
last-
9 weeks though.
Who?
Zion.
9 games. It's not weeks.
Sorry, weeks. He hasn't been out that long.
How long's he been out for, Big
I'd
Z?
say 2-3 weeks.
which is almost 9 games. They play 3 to 4 games a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. He's still not even have a date yet, I don't think.
So everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
3.5 weeks,
There you
almost
go.
4
Yeah, you're
fantasy
right
weeks.
then.
That
Yeah, you're right.
Big
There you
Z's been
go.
out. So but also Ingram came back minute restriction.
Yeah.
So they've
But-
came back like a handicapped team. The best players
Yeah.
sitting on the bench watching. He'll be back. He'll be back
Zion
soon.
may even come back with minute restriction. He's had way too
He
many
will.
injuries.
They'll go 25 minutes, get used to it,
Yeah.
integrate it in. Because also like they're in a situation where they'll probably get the playoffs and they can still win in the playoffs because they've got quite a deep squad compared to
Does
most
Zion
teams.
have a return date?
Not yet, but it's probably coming up very soon.
So I'd assume probably All-Star weekend he's not going to play, and they'll bring him back straight after that. That'd be my assumption.
Yeah,
That's
'cause-
coming up
Well,
in
yeah,
2
why,
weeks.
why wouldn't you just wait it
2
out a
weeks.
little bit longer,
Gets a
rest
few
up?
days extra rest.
Yeah.
Bring him back after the All-Star
Exactly.
break.
Let him have as much rest and recovery as he needs.
Yeah, he needs it. He just keeps injuring himself.
Yeah. But at the same time, he's such a dominant player that you have to keep him healthy.
Yeah,
If you can't load manage this bloke, you have to figure something out.
the struggles all come from he's so athletic, it is crazy. But with that comes all the weight he is athletic with.
Yeah.
He can jump so high, but you've got to imagine his feet take that landing every time.
He's done well to get into shape for this season,
Yes.
though, compared when we last saw him.
Yeah,
I remember when last year we were sending memes to everybody because we were like, oh man, this bloke is going to have no chance. And then he comes back and we see him fit as hell.
I think we just for those that don't know, there was a trade that happened where someone in a competition traded Zion because he was for 10 months. Zion was the love of his life.
12 probably the whole year.
12, and then the final hurdle, a little baguette guy came in, and the love and loyalties changed, and Zion got traded. So we all just jumped on bashing Zion for months. We all knew he was good. We all knew he was an all-star, great player. But I definitely do think he'll come back. He'll be fine.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh no,
Gonna hurt my team.
like he'll be fine. Zion will be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
But just like
He'll just keep bodying some players. He
Yeah.
has such good talent. It's generational, but his injuries are also generational. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The bashing was on Mickey D. It was only because he had
Yeah.
Zion and held on to him for 15 weeks, 20 weeks, or whatever it was, and refused and go, oh, he's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be this, that, and the other. And he was just hyping him up so much. We all knew how good he was, his potential. But we kept on going. Right now, the photos of him, he's breaking his foot from just landing on the floor after dunking the ball. He's heavily over the weight. He can't manage his food. He's just struggling with every aspect. And he is going to be the centerpiece of your entire lineup. What is wrong with you? That's way too much for him to go into the complete other spectrum of just going, passing him on like he's nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
think-
don't mind because he listened and he traded him to me. So thank you, everyone.
Absolute
I
robbery.
I
appreciate
do
all your
think
work.
if I've ever seen a Make-A-Wish on fantasy, it was that trade.
I'm going to make a wish.
That was
No,
the
no, no.
closest I came to rejecting a trade.
No way.
No.
At its time, it was fine. Chet wasn't injured.
It was
no,
never
no.
fine.
For you,
You got
that
4
was
All-Stars
a
for
blessing.
Chet and a pick.
I had another pick as well, I think.
yeah, but that's going to be
I
like
think
a
it was
seventh
2
pick.
picks. It could have even been a little player.
A little throw me in.
little
It was
throwy
another
Little
free.
freebie that gets dropped off.
It
into
could
the
have been.
waivers
Otherwise,
instantly.
it was just Chet and 2 draft picks.
It was
I
absolutely
think.
nothing. You got Shea, Garland, Zion,
And
Mobley for Chet and 3 picks.
3 picks. 3 picks. There you
Yeah,
go.
but you're 23 and you're 25. You're coming first by
Yeah,
a
I know.
long margin.
Yeah.
They're going to be just the bottom of the ladder. They're not going to be a great first pick for now.
Yeah, he's all about the future.
Yeah. When
His
the future
team
is,
about the
we
future.
don't know.
My future is right now.
And now.
Obviously, after that trade, it is. You picked up 4 guys that are locks for an All-Star.
Yeah.
But Zion is injured right now, so
You know what to say, Clara?
I have lost a couple of rounds. So
The game's a game.
The game is the game.
You've lost 4 games, and I'm glad one of them was to me.
yeah, because of your Dame time.
You
No,
beat
no,
me when
Freddie.
Russ got injured.
All Freddie.
No, Dame time. What do you put up like?
Dame
70,
time
84.
84.
Oh, you knew that number.
Dame time
You knew
came
that
through.
number off
80.
by heart.
Oh, I
We all
studied
knew.
down.
We
Yeah.
all saw it happen. We were like, oh,
that one
jeez.
hurt. That hurt.
When that happened, I was like, oh, that flips everything.
You know I lost to you because Russell Westbrook got injured in the
That's
first
not
6
why you
minutes. No, genuinely, I lost by, I think it was like 4 points, 5 points. Check the stats. Russ finished on 6.2.
I
throughout
think
the
that
first
was my
quarter.
week that I had some injuries.
You were like crippled, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
my time is now. And then
And
Russ
it
went out,
wasn't.
Time to steal
balling
the win.
out first quarter, then landed funny, and I was like,
Maybe
I
your
won't
team could
try.
also be no consistency.
mine is just unlucky. Recording.
All right, so moving on to Bones Highland. His trade rumor right now is that all they want is one pick for him, which begs the question, who gives that?
The Clippers, the LA Clippers, that's who gives that. They need a point guard. They need another point guard.
But the point guard they're chasing is Fred VanVleet.
And Lowry.
They're not going for Lowry.
That's the short list, though.
I
That
wouldn't
is
give
list.
the car spanner to change my tire for Kyle Lowry at this point.
Please give him a break.
I will give him he's had a great career. He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
That's it.
Incredible.
The career's done.
Some players, you go, okay, fair enough. I see what you bring. And he's great for Miami and the culture. But I think
Barely.
he's not in the best setup for him to succeed. Maybe playing with Kawhi again, he will be. But if I'm them, Fred VanVleet, Toronto will hold them at ransom.
Well, he's already said that he's going into free agency at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So his contract, literally at the end of this year, he walks.
Yeah.
So it makes the most sense. And they're the other team at the moment that hasn't actually revealed whether they're buyers or sellers. They've decided they're going to do that a week out from the deadline. They'll tell everyone if they're selling or they're holding out.
I feel
And
like
Fred's the guy that's on the move. OG's on the move. And more than likely, Gary Trent Jr. They're the three guys on the Raptors that are almost certain to go at this deadline. So for the Clippers to be picking up, that's a bit unlikely. They're definitely rumoured for both Lowry and Freddie, but Freddie seems like the pretty obvious answer. He's on the cheaper contract. He's the better player.
So what sort of contract would you give Fred? Because let me just tell you right now, the Clippers payroll for next year, have a guess at what it is.
Wouldn't be much. Like, there wouldn't be much space.
They have a payroll of $200 million. Well in the luxury tax.
Yeah, deep into luxury tax.
They've Kawhi and Paul George both on $45 million. So whether I don't know how they've without trading like a Marcus Morris who's got 17 mil 1 year left next year, or Robert Covington who's got 11 mil, affording Fred VanVleet is I think it's going to be the hard part for the Clippers. Because if I'm Steve Ballmer, I'm going, look, I've given you guys luxury tax upon luxury tax. What more can I do? You want to open up the purse for Fred VanVleet? What do I get from it? Because since they got Kawhi and Paul George, what have they achieved?
Nothing. They've just been struck with injuries.
Exactly. Two great players, but Kawhi Leonard is a robot and he'll show up in the playoffs. You don't doubt that.
Oh, yeah, he'll always come through for you eventually,
Always.
but it comes down to, is he available?
Yeah. Always.
Got to get rid of someone.
That's what I'm saying. If they can get Bones Highland for cheap, slot him in. Slot in Bones Highland. Good point
Why
guard.
not?
Good backup. John Wall. He's done decent, John Wall. We'd like to see him ball. We're happy to see John back on the court. But Bones Highland, he's young, he's fresh. Put him in there. That's not a bad little piece for them to use.
This could be the time for Highland to shine,
Yeah.
but are they willing to take that gamble?
I think at this point, they've gone all chips in with Paul George and Kawhi. They've got I think it's $42 million this year, 45 the year after, and then a $48 million player option the third year.
They gotta front load these contracts. This has to flip. This has to become a new thing.
So you know what I mean? Like if I'm Paul George, 50 million almost on the table, I'm playing. Look at Russ.
I know.
His player option with the Lakers, 47 million. That's enough to set up your kids. So if you go, okay,
ginormous.
1 year of slander for that money, I'll take it.
Yeah, he's not turning that down.
Yeah.
No way, mate. That would be ridiculous if you ever turned it down.
Yeah.
I would sit on the bench for a whole year if I was told, oh look, you can sit down here, but we'll give you 47 million. Yeah, done.
That's what John
Don't
Wall did
worry.
in the Rockets.
Yeah, exactly. He figured out the system, man. He was like, you know, I'm gonna get the bag, let them pay me. I don't care if I don't play. I'm still a talented player. I'll get it
Houston-
done no matter what. But if they don't want to play me, I'm getting paid. You know?
Houston were like, we're not playing you because we want to tank. And he goes, keep the money coming. Simple as that. But it's like a proposed trade for Fred VanVleet is Marcus Morris Sr., Brandon Boston Jr., and a first round pick. But Fred's only got 1 year left.
Yep.
Is it this year?
Yep. It's the
Timing.
last year.
So that for a $6 million, yeah, it gets Marcus Morris off his contract. Easy.
It's doable.
Yeah.
It's probably they'd have to throw in an extra pick on top with it because they're kind of just going his salary filler and
Yeah.
shit all.
Yeah. Who else do it? Was there any Knicks trades?
Knicks are interested in Sadiq Bey. That's who they're rumored with.
Really?
There's a few more for them, but the main one is Sadiq Bey. That's who they're chasing.
Intriguing.
No, that's very intriguing.
He's young,
How old is he?
23.
Oh yeah,
He's been in the all rookie team.
He's young. He fits the timeline. Kind of fits the way the team plays too.
He's in Detroit. Detroit are obviously one of the teams going up to Mr. Wembanyama. They've also got Jalen Duren as their center as well, and Marvin Bagley on the bench, who doesn't really play. Isaiah Stewart, who's also on the bench. They just rotate young guys for the starters. But what would the price be for Sadiq Bey? What do we reckon?
It's tough to judge when the Detroit's trying their hardest to lose games, to judge their team's kind of value.
Yeah.
Like you
Playing
kind of
full
have to go,
percentage.
yeah, like you're going off what was he doing a year or two ago, and because he's still doing that, can he do that? It's a bit harder to sort of eagerly set the price.
Yeah.
Like, what's Sadiq's Bay contract?
Let me have a look. Let me get it up.
It's probably really small for what he's doing.
Yeah, it's a rookie. It'll be a rookie contract or rookie
4
extension.
years, 13 mil.
Yeah.
So $3 mil a year, which is absolutely nothing.
Yep.
And the Knicks have plenty of space. So
Yeah.
they don't have to give up much to actually bring that contract on.
He was a first round pick in 2020. So, I mean, at
You've got
23, he's
you
not
can have an
old.
abundance of picks. They
Yeah.
can throw any one at them.
Oh, the Knicks have a stockpile at the moment. They do. They're sitting on a bunch of picks and a good team. I describe as a Knicks fan, I describe it as a very honest team. They're not fancy. They're not like show offy. They're just an honest team where they'll grind you down and get a win if they can. And as a fan, you go, they're giving it their all. RJ Barrett's having a harsher season this year. That's fine. Brunson's leading the team well with Randall. I had them down as both All-Stars because I'm a Knicks fan and you're going to be a bit biased for your team. You got to ride for your team. But definitely, why not throw some picks? I saw there was like 4 picks for OG Anunoby.
Yep, that was offered a couple of days ago.
I don't know how I do 4 picks for him.
4's over the top, but
Yeah.
Are they all, a mix, or are they all second rounders?
4 firsts.
We have so many
Oh.
picks.
Wow.
We have so many future picks.
Oh.
They don't get talked about having that many picks just because OKC's in the league.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone goes,
is-
oh, OKC has all the picks in the fucking comp.
Let me
like-
give you a rundown.
They're offering 4 firsts.
We've got 4 firsts for this draft coming
Yeah.
up. 1 for 2024, 1, 2 for 2025. This is all the Knicks picks for the next to 2029.
Yeah, so they've got a fair amount.
We're good. We're good. So they're like, okay, how do we use these to like push us into a position where we're more competitive whilst maintaining the team that we have? Similar to like the teams where we said, look, they can just chuck in 4 picks for a player like OG, but does that get them over the line?
Well, he just did his wrist, so careful.
4 games. That's all he's out for. 4
A
games.
week.
Yeah, he's
You
he's
know,
out for the
one thing
the
to
road trip, isn't
manage.
it?
Yep. And it adds up quickly. 4 games here, 4 games there, 4 games everywhere. Then you're
Suddenly
Zion.
you're Zion and you're out forever.
Then you're known as Anthony Davis. You don't play.
Oh,
I did
mate.
see AD get hurt today. Was there any update on that?
What
There
was
was
he,
no report that he was even hurt.
I just saw him limp.
what did he do? Trip
He-
over his
he-
own foot?
He does that every single
Not again.
play.
Not again.
He hops, like he holds shit. It's just
I just saw him like hobble, and I was like,
unless he comes off the court, there's nothing to worry about.
I
He
just
does that shit just to try and get a foul.
I reckon he's on pain meds every day. I reckon he's just busted. He wakes up and he's
He's
just done
permanently
his
baked.
shoulder.
just pure ketamine every morning.
Just a mix of everything.
Hit the
Hope it
D'Angelo
goes
Russell,
well.
ice in the veins.
It's not a daily vitamins. It's daily. Which one am I popping today?
They're all absolutely baked. Now that they don't test them for weed, it's just everyone's on it. There's no need not to be. They
I
all
respect
play.
it.
They all enjoy it. That's pretty much their go-to.
Well, yeah, it's once it became legal, hey, it doesn't alter their physical capabilities. It's not like they're doping.
Yeah, but as Stephen A. Smith says, stay off the weed.
That's it.
Well, they probably, like a lot of them, probably make bad decisions already. They add a lot of weed usage. It can alter a few
I would
thought
love if
processes.
they could like track it though. Like if before the game they said, "Oh yeah, I did smoke up," and then no, I didn't, and then we can compare how the player performs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'd be like, "Oh shit, you're much better once you start smoking."
Well, it's like
Off you go.
the reason why Stephen A. says it, he says, stay off the weed only to protect your own money. That's his only thing. He's like, stay off the weed because if it fucks with your money, it's not worth it. And that's his whole thing. So you always hear him like shout, stay off the weed. But it's just because he doesn't want athletes to fuck up their financial situation, which that makes sense.
Yeah.
'Cause I saw in an interview, they asked him, do you stay off the weed, Stephen A? And he was like,
I'm not playing basketball.
he's like, doesn't interfere with my money. Yeah, what else we got, Chris?
So the Knicks are also involved in more rumors. You guys are actually one of the most busy teams so far. But the Knicks, Suns, Mavs, and Hawks.
I hear Jay Crowder, get out.
No, very interesting. Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma's requested a trade, but Washington said they don't want to release him.
Wait. When did this request come through?
He requested out a few weeks ago.
Oh, I well missed this.
Yeah, Kuz requested a trade a while ago, but Washington's just kind of gone. We'll see if anything comes.
Did he say why?
Because they're trash.
Opportunity. He wants to be on a competing team. He's not getting the ball enough. Hundreds of reasons.
He's on a team with Bill and Porzingis Kingus.
Tingus Pingus.
Yeah, like he.
Bill's
There's
Bill's always out as well.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's another one of my problem players.
It's like the John Wall and Bradley Bill, Dame and CJ, iconic duos.
Yeah.
But it's tough to win when you're a guard heavy duo. It's tough to win in the league.
Yeah.
That's why the Hawks are struggling in my eyes.
Yeah.
Two guards absolutely killing it, both playing really well.
Yeah.
They're both always now, as long as they're stuck together, they're always just going to be just on the outside of making an all-star appearance.
Yeah.
Because you can't credit one without the other.
Yeah.
If they have a good game, it's thanks to one. If they have a shit game, thanks to both of them.
Yeah. I think
They're just not getting the success we thought they would.
the only team where I've seen like recently two guards dominate is like that Prime Warriors, Steph and Clay.
Yeah, Splash Brothers.
They're the best shooters to step foot on the court in the past 20 plus years.
As a duo, yeah.
Yeah, you look at Wade and LeBron. Wade was the shooting guard. LeBron was always a forward.
Yeah.
Shaq and Kobe, guard,
Brought
center.
balance.
Well, it's because the Warriors do something no other team does. They fucking run without the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No one runs more than Steph. Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't have the ball, he's sprinting laps around the court just to get open. And when you got both guards doing that sort of shit, and you can't leave either of them open, either one's going to run and someone's going to cut. One's going to run, another cut. Someone's getting open.
The issue with that as well, they tire a team down so much because you can't leave the best shooter to ever live open.
Yeah.
No,
You have to have someone who's pretty much like a Pat Bev, like a Colin Sexton, a pit bull, to stay on them. And your job is to stay with them. Like I was watching the Pat Bev podcast, and he was saying, do you know he's been roommates with Steph Curry at all these basketball camps since like 14, 15?
Yeah, wow.
Really?
They spent so much time together growing up. But like all of the comps when they go to ACCU, like they spent so much time, not an ACCU, I don't know that's what I was saying, but they spent so much time together, like at the All-American game, who was his roommate, Steph Curry. LeBron camp, who was his roommate, Steph Curry.
Right.
So like you might see Pat Bev as a pit bull because he will mark you, he will stay on you, he'll be physical, but that's the sort of role that you need for a team like when you're playing the Warriors. You need someone to be like, hey, your whole role today is Steph Curry. Like I don't want you to shoot, score, all of your energy goes on guarding him.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is you can do that and Steph will still put up 20 points and that's a good game for you.
Which is so annoying. You watch it and you're like, this guy's getting guarded so
Yeah.
much. But then again, you do see a lot of illegal screens. We'll jump over that.
All the elevator screens when they just have the two like big guys in the middle, he just kind of sneaks in between.
But like, yeah, and then you're like, oh, okay. But we saw that that kind of defense worked in the past with Matthew Dellavedova. Like that, it was proven in the final series that if you stick a bloke just on Steph and just mark him and don't let him get the ball like as minimal as possible, then you have a shot. But if you let him get an open look, it's done deal.
It's tricky because with that, then you also like a team like the Warriors, you rely on the others around him. But it's like in the Game 7 of the 2016 finals, they said, okay, we're going to make the others bidders. Draymond Green, or 32 and 15 he put up. So they went, we'll let Draymond beat us. He almost did, like, that's the issue you're
The
playing.
whole team's got shooters.
The whole team.
All of them can score.
Like, Draymond Green, yes, he does shoot like he's got a backpack on, but he's good. He can make it when it counts. There's no, will he punch his teammate if he has to? Yeah, he will, and he has done. Proven.
Is the stat correct if I remember? Green got a triple-double without scoring any points.
Yeah.
That's still a wild stat.
Yeah. He's good. Like, he is what the Brooklyn Nets wish Ben Simmons would be, which brings us on to another topic you want to talk about, players playing out of position.
Yeah. Honestly, there's so many players that aren't playing that traditional position for their size.
Yeah.
And when they play it correctly, they could be absolute beasts. But if they're being utilized, as we can see with Ben can mark every single player on the court. But him as a person or as a player just doesn't seem to be producing or being used.
I think this season he's a bit... It's hard to describe because there's been times when he's been in the running for Defensive Player of the Year and you've gone, wow, he's just... Gosh, he can take anyone on. Then there's times when he has bad games, but I think at the moment this season, I've watched a lot of Brooklyn Nets games and he seems to be fouling out a lot. Whether that's on purpose, he doesn't have to play, but there's definitely been a bit of him not stepping up to the defensive challenge of every team's best player, which is what he can do and he's more than capable of. But like if Kyrie Irving's playing more defense than you,
Something's wrong.
because Kyrie is spectacular, probably the best handles that I've watched in a basketball game. His job isn't defense. It's not. You don't, as a head coach, you don't go, Kyrie, you've got the next man up. And we know that. Like,
No, it's all about Kyrie. Try and get a steal
yeah,
and score.
Yeah.
Steal and score. Steal, score. Get a few assists if they're open.
Yeah.
Steal and score.
your job is to score
Mm.
and lead the team in scoring. But yeah, it's interesting. What other players play out of position in a similar situation? Obviously, Draymond is 6'9" and plays center, which is baffling.
Well, again, we got Laurie Markkinen. Mate, he's 7 foot.
Yeah.
Center quality. He's playing a forward. All of a sudden, you get this massive bloke coming at you, playing out of position, moving the ball around with handles. Next thing you know, it's a game changer. Because look at all the other forwards, right? He's easily maybe 4-5 inches taller than a lot of them. That's already a height difference. He doesn't even have to get the switch.
Yeah, it's
He can post up, back down, take a three. It makes it so much more competitive. Because otherwise, if it's a 7-footer on a 7-footer, you know what's happening. It's a battle for post, right?
this is my only counter I have to that. Did you see Joel Embiid hit a step back three over Nikola Jokic to win the game only days ago?
Oh, I missed it.
Great play.
Literally, like your point about playing different positions is valid, but I think position basketball isn't as much of a thing
Becoming
anymore
positionless basketball
because
Everyone's
players are
playing
so
everywhere.
skilled.
You look at guys like Nikola Jokic, who's basically playing as a point guard. He runs that team's offense.
That's another player
Yeah.
playing out of position.
Yeah,
And he still plays as a center, but he runs the team.
Exactly.
You got Point Zion. Like
He's no longer their point guard. Does jack all now because they pass him the ball and now he's creating the plays.
yeah.
It's like this. The game has changed so much that size isn't really a thing for position. It's whatever
You're good
your
at.
team needs and what you're good at.
And also, you look at a team. Imagine you've got a team you're playing the 76ers, and the next day you're playing Denver, and you go, okay, today this is our defensive assignment. James Harden, Tyrese Maxey. And you go, okay, shit. Now we've got to mark a 7-foot point center. Like, how do we balance that? And for the teams like Denver, they go, cool. We've got something the teams aren't ready for. You're not ready for a center that can go post up, can hit threes, hits the nicest passes that I've seen, and will rebound all at once. And you kind of go, how do we beat that? You look at obviously Wembanyama's coming in next season. He's 7'4". He can do it all. Like he can do it all. Like whether or not we want to admit it or not, he can do it all. Is he skinny? Yes. Will he have to put on weight? Yeah. Will he? Of course. It'll just take time. He's a young guy. Chris, you're hesitant.
I don't think he actually does put on weight. I think they run him at the 4 or even the 3. Just let him be oversized in his position. Right now, why put him on any guy that is going to be bigger, stronger than him? Keep him as far away from a guy like Giannis as possible. Let him step back over anybody he wants. Keep him away from having to play in any sort of situation where he's going to get back down the court.
Yeah, so my only thing with that is he's 7'5". He can get back down the court as quick as he wants anyway, like 5 steps and he'll be down there. Also, players will always switch on to him.
Yeah.
If you think he's coming in and Joel Embiid's not ISOing him, he's got to...
Yeah, they will be.
You get someone coming in who's 7'5", an incredible... Like, he's 100 kilos, 7'5".
Yeah.
That's just... He
nothing.
needs to put on weight because
Baffling.
you're going to literally... If I'm Giannis, I go, come on, I want you.
Yeah.
And you're just calling the switch straight off the rip. And
Yeah.
that's what makes me fear him not putting on size.
He'll have to put on a little bit just to survive against these guys. Like, Joel Embiid puts him in the post, he's gone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
One foul and he's going to be injured.
Yeah.
If not,
And he
you know what I
will.
mean?
Like,
Like we saw with
We,
Chet.
we don't see many 7-footers
Skinny.
that don't risk injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Porzingis.
Because they are light and tall.
Yeah.
Like there isn't many 7'4" guys that are massive. Because if they are, they don't go into basketball.
yeah. But he was born in 2004.
Yeah, that just feels awkward.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Like he will be great. He's played basketball since he was like 5 or 6. He will be awesome. Whether or not we want to admit it or not, he will be one of the best. Like he'll be in the.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if he came in and he was like the top 5, 6 for All-Star voting next year from the fans. It wouldn't shock me. You see a 7'5" guy come in, hit threes, blocks, rebounds, steals. That's just going to be eye-catching, and you're going to go, wow. Plus, all of France will vote for him. Done.
Do we think he's going to be the first rookie to be Rookie of the Year, possible all-team, like all-NBA?
No. And I'll tell you why. Just out of pure principle. LeBron wasn't. LeBron's been the best player in the league since like 2009. And they've gone, okay, that's what they always do. It's voted.
But do we not look at it and go, oh, LeBron deserved that. Maybe he does too. If he is absolutely dominating, there's no way
Times
he
are
shouldn't get it.
changing.
Nah. I'll tell you why. Why was Michael Jordan not the MVP every season? He was the best player when he was playing. He won 6 championships. Why wasn't he the MVP every season? Voters they're like, no, that's enough, Mike. LeBron should have had more than 4 MVPs? Got dominated.
Yeah, no, I still reckon LeBron's been what do you
He's been
call it?
snubbed.
He's
Snubbed
been
way too many
snubbed
times.
so much. The guy, he became the 4th in all-time assists today. He's about like 2 games, 3 games off becoming all-time leading in points.
I think it's a bit longer than that, but it's close to
It's
that.
meant to
No.
be-
It's
like
less.
February.
It's less than 100 games. No, sorry, less than 100 points.
Yeah, everyone's thinking it's going to be during
Feb
the OKC game.
Yeah, Feb 7th, around that. He's 2 or 3 games away from it.
The money in sports bet is saying OKC.
Yeah. Also, like, I'll have
pretty
it
good.
on the record right now. LeBron will beat Kareem's scoring points with a skyhook.
Oh, you reckon it's
He's
going
doing
strategic?
I've been watching LeBron pre-game. What's he
What is he-
practicing?
what
A
is
fucking
warming it up?
skyhook. I'm telling you, it's LeBron. He loves it. He loves basketball history. He's going to go bang. And then everyone's going to go, fuck, he's just beat Kareem with Kareem's move.
No one else does that, and it's such an effective move that it's like, why don't they?
Mac McClung in the G League, he does
You
that.
have told us about him.
He does that. You'll see him. He's in the dunk contest this year. And he's in the Rising Star game. He hits the skyhook because he's shifty, he's athletic, but he is like 6'1". He just goes, yeah, cool, I can jump.
It's effective.
Oh. But yeah, LeBron's going to beat that scoring record with the skyhook. And when it happens, I'm going to bow, and you'll get a nice little no
I'd
words.
love to see it. I'd love
just
to
a
see it.
photo of just me going,
Yeah.
Well,
I think
hope-
you should practice doing that shot,
yeah, just,
and you can post it when he
me,
does that.
me side by side.
Yeah, side by side, compare as soon as it happens.
It's going to
Yeah,
look like a ballet
requesting it.
poster.
But the question
on the
is,
Insta.
can LeBron do it at Stanhope Courts? I don't know.
I don't think he could.
The gravel, double rim.
Oh, it's a lot of work to get out to Stanhope for him.
Yeah.
Imagine
Those courts
that.
have been updated. They're actually not that bad.
No, you're talking about the ponds?
Oh, sorry, the ponds.
It
The
doesn't
ponds-
matter.
the
I don't
ponds
think it
double
would
rim.
matter.
No, LeBron, if you're ever in Sydney,
I'll meet you at the ponds.
I'll meet you down there.
I hope, just for the record's sake, that he wins that game against OKC. Like,
I don't
if,
think
It doesn't
matters.
even matter.
no,
yeah.
no, but for the
At
excitement.
that point, no
for
one's
the
going to be
glory.
caring about what the score was. It's
so let's
just
just say
all
this
about
is-
LeBron.
If the Lakers don't beat OKC,
Like, yeah, it just kind of
It
puts
really
a
that
damper.
doesn't matter.
It puts a damper on it.
Oh, I don't think he'd care at all. I think he'd just be focusing on that career highlight.
yeah, you'll
It's
get
that big. Doesn't matter.
you'll get the classic Hill skyhook, diving home,
Seriously.
timeout.
I-
The whole arena stands
Yeah.
and claps for him.
I don't know what would be better, if the skyhook or like an alley-oop.
No one's going to alley-oop it to him. Who's going to do that fun pass? Russell Westbrook? He's probably going to throw it over Rosette.
Give us the D-Wade LeBron alley-oop.
D-Wade comes out of
Actually, it
retirement
wasn't
for
even an
one game.
alley-oop.
Yeah, but if he
that
can do
hi-
it all
that
on his
highlight wasn't
own,
even
that's
highlight.
even cooler. He can just
Yeah.
do it all on his own without anyone else.
I do
Alley-oop
think
off the
history.
backboard off himself.
No, but
Does that give you an assist and points?
No,
imagine.
Oh,
I just like
That'd change up the league, though.
honestly, I'd be sending myself up every time, you know?
Russell Westbrook would lead the league in assists. He's the all-time triple-double record holder. That's not
With
slip
that,
on Russ.
could you imagine that? It gives you a rebound, an assist, and points.
You're just thinking of fantasy.
Yeah.
I am thinking
Who
of that.
doesn't though?
Set yourself up. Oh, I've just assisted my own points.
Game's a game.
Game's a
game.
game.
Do we have any more trade rumors before we round off this week's episode?
No rumours, but one thing I did want to cover was Peyton Pritchard requesting a trade. So I don't know if you've heard too much about him.
Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, he is the backup's backup.
Yeah.
And he came out I think he was doing a podcast with Andre Iguodala,
Yeah.
and he requested a trade saying, look, he wants to go out and seek somewhere else where he can go get some more money, have a bigger role in a winning team.
Yeah.
And he's copping a lot of backlash for it, which makes sense because he's at the number 1 seed, wanting out to try and do more. But I just want to see what you guys thought on it. But to me, it's kind of just going, he is a young guy wanting to do more. I don't understand why he would cop so much heat for it.
I think it comes down to the Boston fan base is very loyal in any sport that you play. It's like the Philadelphia fan base. They are very loyal. And if your team, like Boston, is the first seed, you're in the finals last year, and he said, I want to go to another team, the one thing that Boston fans will say is, why don't you fight more for your position in this team than trying to find an out? Okay, you're behind Marcus Smart, but why is Marcus Smart there? Defensive Player of the Year.
He's behind Marcus Smart, Brogdon, Derek White, And then,
Well, I don't want to say it, but that's kind of in that hierarchy.
of course, he deserves to be. He's probably the 4th, 5th option off the bench.
That's the pecking order. That's the pecking order of the Boston Celtics. Like
I'll see if I can find his exact statement. But he was basically saying he didn't want to be higher than the rest or try and say that he deserves to be above them or anything.
Yeah.
He knows where he stands, but it was just he wants to be in a position where he does get a shot.
Yeah.
Because he knows in Boston he doesn't get a shot.
Yeah, I get that, but you're on a chance like with a young team. Tatum, what, 24? 24 Tatum? Or 25?
24.
24. So you got Tatum, Jaylen Brown, 26. You're in a prime spot to be around a young team.
But you can market yourself and do better. We've got a guy turning down a $122 million contract.
Spot on.
Why not try for something better?
Spot on. But I think
You've only got how long in a career?
Well,
Wrist injury? Mate, you're done.
Not only that, yeah. Get the bag.
Try. If you
Any-
know your
anything.
worth, go for it.
Anything
Yeah.
can happen tomorrow.
Go for
If
it.
he's not even playing that big of a role on the team, I don't know why he's copying so much hate.
Boston fans are wild.
Well, why would you want to stay around that?
Well, it's no diving into Ben Simmons and Philly territory.
Like those sort of fans are wild. If they love you, they will go to war for you.
Yeah, but then that's where the team and the franchise also needs to look that these guys, like the fans love this player.
Yeah.
Why aren't we giving him more?
Yeah. It was like when Kyrie went back and he started lighting up Sage in the arena.
That's just Kyrie. That's just funny.
It is funny.
I loved it. He's walking around just lighting it, throwing the smoke around, and then he just drops too many points on them. Did you find the statement or not?
Can't find it.
It's interesting. They're a team though. Could they just go with the Nuggets and go, all right, Peyton for Bones?
Maybe.
Peyton for Bones. What do you think? Quick swap around.
That'd probably be an improvement.
For Celtics, if they got Bones
Yeah.
Island, oh
Yeah.
jeez.
I don't. It might not have been asking out. I think he might have been saying that he's going to walk at the deadline.
Yeah.
Or not deadline, but in free agency, he's going to trial free agency.
Ah, well, that's fine.
I think that was it, but he was still copping heat for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, some people just need to relax a little.
yeah. but Boston sports fans aren't there.
It's almost like a mistake for him to announce that so soon.
Yeah.
He
Or is
probably
he
just
trying
let
to-
it slip.
Or is his agent in his ear saying, let everybody know now?
He's
Yeah.
just like,
Why
yeah.
not?
Then as soon as he said, he's like, oh, fuck. It wasn't
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah.
Wasn't worth it. Well, that's it for this week's episode. Unless you got anything else to go over, Chris.
No, I can't find the comments, but that's about it.
I think we're good. Clara, Will,
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.
coming on.
Easy,
It's been lovely.
easy.
Done.
it.
Before we go, we'd like to thank the Bella Vista Podcast Studio for letting us film and record here. Really appreciate it. Great complex, great setup.
Thanks, Bella.
Prime setup. Honestly, it's been flawless to get there. Still getting used to the equipment.
They're coming through clutch.
Yeah, hopefully looking at doing 2 camera angles and working through editing further. Baby steps.
Sometime in the future. I don't think we're going to rush into that.
Yeah. Walk before we can run.
That's it.
That's the dream. Well, thank you. Enjoy.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Love ya.
Bye.